Good afternoon and welcome to another exciting episode of Entab presents CampusCare EdTalks, a platform where educators and leaders express their viewpoints on burning topics related to education. Multicultural classrooms are the classrooms that embrace the multifariousness and intermingle the opinions, beliefs, and personalities from various countries and cultural backgrounds together. Several cultural viewpoints are put together to empower students to get this global exposure. It is essential because it dilutes and disperses the diversiveness of cultures. It fosters discussion, often between different cultures, to have completely changed perspectives. Hence, to design and promote multiculturalism in classroom, it is very essential for all the educations to work cordially with each other in order to bring positive change in the education sector. So today with us we have our esteemed educators to talk about this aspect. So we welcome all the educators and we welcome, first of all, let me welcome to all the viewers that we have. All the viewers who are watching our show, please subscribe to our channel and click that bell icon for regular updates and regular exciting sessions like this. So as we begin, we have our first educator, Mr. Jay Sharma Sir, principal at Harvest International School, Ludhiana, who has more than 18 years of experience in teaching. He is a TEDx speaker as well as a poet. Welcome, Jay Sir.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Would you like to say anything to our audience, sir?
Hello, audience. Whosoever is watching this show, I can tell you one thing that this is going to be a very exciting show because I can see, two of my friends who have got a lot of experience. And this is a new dimension, actually. I have attended many workshops and many, talk shows also. But then this particular thing, multiculturalism in the classroom, this was untouched. It's fairly a new concept. So let us hope that we are going to have a very productive and fruitful discussion.
We hope so too, sir. Thank you so much. Next in our panel is Mr. Akhilesh Chaturvedi sir, Principal, DPS Gurgaon, who has more than 28 years of experience in teaching. He started his career with DAV Paschim Vihar, New Delhi, and in the year 1992 as a physics teacher. Then he worked as a founder headmaster at DPS Palwal and the founder principal of DPS Nagpur. We welcome you, sir.
Hi, thank you so much, and good evening, everyone. Uh, it's nice to be on such a platform where I'll get some opportunity to share my experience, whatever I have learned in last 28 years. As I today also, I call myself as a learner only. I hope all of us will enjoy this session.
We all
Thank
are
you.
learners, sir. Thank you for joining us, sir. We all are learners in nowadays. Last but not the least, we have our third guest, Sri Alok Kumar Mohantini, sir, the principal of Pulox Intelli School. He was awarded by Mr. Azim Premji in the year 2012 earning an award from Wipro for a sustainably good project. He's also developed the curriculum for the teachers and trained them, helped them in publishing textbooks for the schools during his early career days. We welcome you, sir. Sir, you're on mute. Can you unmute yourself, please?
Yeah, Namaskaram,
Namaskar, sir.
and it's a pleasure to be in this platform and listening to all the luminaries. Uh, I would call them co-pilgrims who are in the sacred journey of education for all these long years, and it would be definitely enriching for all of us. And I would also encourage viewers to ask questions because it is fairly a challenging topic, and it is one of the crux of the issues that we always encounter in the education process. So I'm looking forward to a very meaningful engagement. Thank you very much.
With this, I would welcome all of you to Entab CampusCare EdTalks and welcome to all the viewers once again. To begin with, Jessa, please tell our viewers what is multiculturalism in classrooms? How does Indian schools value it?
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. And once again, I thank you for having me on the show. Well, when we talk about multiculturalism classrooms, it's fairly a new concept because, you know, when we think about a very set system of schooling, honestly speaking, if we talk about few years ago, there was no room for multiculturalism in the classroom. So when I think of multiculturalism in the classroom, so multicultural classrooms are classrooms that basically embrace diversity and incorporate ideas, beliefs of people from different countries, different societies. Does not have to be necessarily different countries, but different parts of the world, different societies. They might have different cultural backgrounds, and of course, the several cultural perspectives, thought processes are put together to enable student to get a truly international citizen, global citizen, 21st century citizen, 21st century learners, those who are very confident, they are well spoken, and they have a feeling of sensitivity towards other cultures as well. When we talk about our, the next part of the question you asked me is that how do we value, how our schools have started valuing it? Of course, my answer is a big yes, because now Indian schools have really understood the true meaning of implementing or practicing multiculturalism in the classroom. Because gone are the days when students used to uh, think of only becoming, IS officers or IITNs or maybe chartered accountants, because now they are playing in the international arena. I belong to an international school wherein I would say that 90% of my students after grade 12, after A level, they go and take admissions in international universities. So schools have understood, not only international schools, but CBSE schools also and state board schools also. And that is why they're putting a lot of efforts to ensure that at least their students, our students, they get, that setup wherein they can actually taste what actually is multiculturalism. So there are a lot of benefits also, I would say. It certainly exposes our students to different cultures. Then, it fosters acceptance. And most important is tolerance in a learning environment, which is much needed now. And it teaches multiple perspectives because, I'll give you a very simple example that it might look as six to you, but to me it's nine. So everybody has got a different perspectives. So to be able to respect others' perspective, that is another very important thing. And of course it encourages critical thinking. That's very important. It also helps in building an international network because when they collaborate with the students of different part of the world, so they form a kind of network. So working in different setup. So these are some of the important things, and now I'm very happy that most of our schools and the principals, credit goes to the principals also. They have understood it, and they have actually started practicing it in true sense.
Completely true, sir. Very true. Yes, to make a global citizen, we require the efforts that our educators are already providing. But as we talk about India, India being a unique country in the world, when we speak about diversities, so Akhilesh sir, can you please explain to our viewers how schools can create, sustain, and imbibe democratic values along with the academic excellence?
As my colleague Mr. Jay Sharma already explained beautifully the meaning of this multicultural classrooms, I would like to add the teaching that should be imparted in a class, the teachers need to adapt a differential style of teaching, where the teacher is able to reach every child and child should be able to understand the language of the teacher. When we talk about the education, the way it is imparted, those days have gone when the career options were only the doctors, the engineers, or the lawyers. Nowadays, we have got various career options, and when we expose our children with different other countries, maybe in the form of some seminars, webinars, some project work, then they learn the culture of that particular country and they try to imbibe that in our Indian system. And indirectly, the aptitude and that changes, and the child is able to grasp in a better manner. And gradually, it improves the learning of the child. And when the child becomes adult, then he is ready to survive anywhere, wherever he or she goes. So that's the way I feel for this.
Very true, sir. Our educators are actually working very hard to make a global citizen. So, as we all know that educators are working their heart and soul in this, we cannot ignore the challenges that come up when we take up to the next level. So, Alok sir, what are your views that what challenges are coming up to create these diversities, to create, imbibe these diversities in the students?
Okay, well, it is very important that when we are talking and dealing with a subject which is very complex, we need to have clarity on these words. Culture itself is a very, very loaded word. Diversity again is a very, very big loaded word. So, at the outset, what I would like to do is that I would try to explain these things so that the terms and conditions which I am going to use will be clear. So, first of all, when we say culture, that means uh, in all the pursuit that human beings have been engaged, when they reach certain kind of refinement, certain kind of state of quality, which is valued by all around. So whether it may be in terms of food, clothing, shelter, or any kind of skill, so that is the culture. And India perhaps is the only surviving country which has a culture which is going beyond 10,000 years. Okay, for example, yoga is a culture. Now it is a cultural gift of India to the world, and it is surviving for more than 10,000 years. So this culture, when it is going to the world, how do we live it? That means when we are giving our culture to the world, we are also importing a lot of culture. We see a lot of American culture in our cities. So all this is coming into a point where we need to look at all these trends and do justice to this. Okay. Now, when we talk about diversity, what is diversity? Uh, India is called as a subcontinent. That means each state of India has its own unique culture. Now, this unique culture is so unique that every 20 kilometers you see change of food, change of language, and change of dress. You understand? And our government has done good. This Navodaya Vidyalayas, KVs, they have introduced this three language policy. So you are free to learn a neighboring state language. They have introduced this. So indirectly, you are also exposing the student to respect the diversity and adapt to the diversity so that you don't know when you are exposed to outside world, you need to have that adaptability. So diversity is inbuilt in our culture. Why? Because we live in a pool where diversity is everywhere. So Indians, they say that when you learn many languages, the neurological connectivity in your brain is much more complex, and you are able to process the data in a much faster manner. So Indians by birth are blessed to learn three, four, five languages by default because the neighbor might be a Punjabi or a Bengali or Odia. And just by living in that space, you are learning so many things. So there, the main ingredient is that we are respecting them. We as Indians we are not tolerating our neighbors. Okay, in the world, people are tolerating. There are many monocultures. They don't want other culture to, no, they don't want them to strive and then want them to grow and get enriched. They want to dominate. But when they come together, they say that it is tolerance. But true sense of diversity is to respect the uniqueness of each culture. So I think this is one of the major difficulty which prevents us uh, from celebrating diversity. Okay, and if you look at our culture, our tradition, Vedas or Upanishads, in Vedas there is a mantra called Ano Bhadraha Kratava Yantu Viswata. It says that let all the noble thoughts come from the whole universe to me and I get enriched by it. But mind you, keeping the feet on the ground. That means I am surely footed on my own indigenous culture. I'm not compromising with that. Yet, my mind is open to learn from any source. Now, what we are doing because of our infinity complex, because of English medium education that we tolerated for so many years 200 years, more than 200 years, and after independence for so many years, we have an infinity complex. So, that is why we are compromising on all this. When we start taking confidence in our culture, which is so well organized, and slowly that is happening because world is recognizing yoga, world is recognizing all our non-vegetarian, vegetarian lifestyle, so many things. So we are gaining our confidence, and in our schools, it is going to reflect better, provided we are more conscious about it. Thank you very much.
Completely agreed, sir. So beautifully you've listed down what challenge can India face. Jay, sir, can you shed some light on some challenges that you think that India is facing or the classroom culture is facing in imparting diversities?
Yes, while Mr. Mohanty, he has thrown light on the core issues and, he has put things across in a very, very nice manner. I would rather talk about, some practical problems which we face. As a school, I can tell you because whatever I'll say, that is based on my experience with my students, with my parents. One of the major problem is that we do not have a trained staff force. All right. As I said that, I'll only talk about the practical issues. See, it's a very, very sensitive thing. One has to be really trained in order to provide students with an atmosphere where they start respecting others' culture. They pick the, positive points from the other cultures. Not everybody can do. So Indian government, state governments, they have to start investing in training programs because everybody talks about how to produce results, how to train teachers to deliver a lesson effectively, deliver a subject effectively. Nobody talks about all these things. That's one of the practical problems I see. The second practical problem is that more than 95% of the schools, more than 95% of the schools are operating in rural areas, and infrastructure is a big, big constraint. All right. In order to expose our children to this multiculturalism, they need to be in touch with schools operating in different part of the country and of course different part of the world. Now, how do we think actually that without this internet connectivity, without having the proper infrastructure, they'll be able to do it? Because the students learn best when he or she experiences it. We can teach them a lot, we can talk about all these things, but till the time they're not exposed to the real life situations, till the time they do not interact with the student, somebody, a student who is in grade 9, grade 11, and in a country called Sudan, in a country called Pakistan, in a country called Zambia, how will they get to understand, how will they get to understand what actually their perspective is? So that is another hurdle which I think is stopping most of the schools to practice it, to implement in their schools. All right. And of course, we are in a society where we have got hundreds of castes, beliefs, political viewpoints, And these all things as a whole, it plays a very negative role in promoting this multicultural. But despite all odds, I must say that most of the schools have. Now sir spoke about Navodaya Vidyalaya. I tell you one beautiful thing about Navodaya Vidyalaya, because I myself is a you know I'm passed out from Navodaya Vidyalaya. So what happens in Navodaya Vidyalaya in grade 9 actually, they have a system called migration. And let me tell you that that started it doing in long back, you know, as back as 1989, if I'm not wrong. And so I'm talking about 31 years from now, 31 years back. So there's a system called migration wherein a group of students, from grade 9, they are sent to other Navodaya Vidyalaya of other state. So let's say Navodaya Vidyalaya is in Bihar, in a particular district. So a group of the students, they are sent to another Navodaya Vidyalaya somewhere in Andhra Pradesh. And a group of the students from Andhra Pradesh Navodaya Vidyalaya, they are sent to that Bihar Navodaya Vidyalaya. So it's cultural exchange. All right. So yes, schools have started doing it, and I'm very glad that positive results are also showing. And I'm sure that with the efforts of leaders like Mr. Mohanty, Mr. Chaturvedi, and there are thousands and thousands of principals doing wonderful job in isolation, will be able to make difference.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for listing out certain points. And I hope your points, your views reach to the right ears and a difference surely comes in the future. So, Akhilesh, sir, as an edu leader, what can be the easy ways for teachers to encourage a culture of diversity in our schools for the students? As you spoke about the challenges, what solutions do you suggest?
In my view, when we need to give the solution of any problem to a child, the better way is to teach the ways how a child can find a solution for the problem. Normally, what we do in our schools, when a child comes with some problem, okay, this is the solution. Now you take this is the solution, you just mug it up, and then probably when you'll get the question, the examination, then you need to simply write whatever has been conveyed to you. So instead of that, if our teachers should encourage, they give them some tips, some points, some hints by which the child is able to find a solution by himself or herself. So that will add to the education of the child. That's number one thing. Second thing, we should give more emphasis on the project-based learning. As Jay sir was saying, like till the child is not being exposed to different culture, I would like to share some of my experiences when I got a chance to visit to some of the schools in UK and some of the schools in Australia and some of the schools in Germany. The three countries I had visited in last 10, 12 years in various groups as a delegate. And then whenever I learned the way the education is being imparted, especially recently, last November, I was in Germany with my some fellow colleagues, around 32 principals of various schools of Delhi, and some were from Pakistan also, and some were from Sri Lanka also, and some were from Nepal also. So we visited the various schools, and then we analyzed, since like the size of the class, the size of the classrooms is much bigger as compared to the size of classrooms in our country. And the number of students in that particular class, they are much lesser. So around 14 to 20 students, say like me, say maximum students in any of the class was 20. And every child has a teaching aid with him or her so that they are doing their separate experiments. Now, in our country, what happens, we make the groups of 4, group of 6, and they ask them to use a single apparatus. So these are certain limitations what we have in our country. So if we try to work on them, so probably that will help to basically give more importance to this multiculturalism. That's all I wanted to cover.
Very rightly said. But sir, nowadays everything has become so virtual that I hope we get to our physical classrooms as soon as possible. But now everything is just going virtual. Our classrooms are virtual. Our meetings and seminars also are going virtual. So, as we take this point ahead, teachers must be trained to be sensitive to handle the issues in the classroom. So, Alok sir, are there any training programs for the teachers, or should there be any training programs for the teacher? What are your points?
Yeah, thank you for this question. After listening to my co-panelist, Mr. Jay and Akhilesh sir, uh, I would like to add few things in this regard. Thing is that most of the things in our country, when we look at, there is certain degree of superficiality. Like if you see the B.Ed program, the teachers program, the lesson plans, all these are there very nicely in the paper. But when you go to the classroom, they are not executed. Like sir was just saying, the number of children in a classroom is quite high. So how do you handle it? But keeping it aside, there are schools who are role models who are attempting it. Like in our school, we do this in-house teachers training program, and we are doing all this in a different way. Just I'll narrate to you few things. So to delve this question in a deeper way, let us first find out what is multi is all about. Now, anything multi is standing against one. So when you are thinking about multi, that means it is more than one. So first of all, in order to have that kind of diversity, you need to master one. If you master one, then you can master 11, because in 11, one is there 11 times. So basic thing is that you as a human being must be very, very clear about your own culture, about your own uniqueness. So until unless one is having that clarity and that kind of sensitivity, he will not be able to do justice to oneself, neither do justice to the so-called other. So what happens when the people don't have clarity? In the name of unity, they say yes to everything that the boss says. Okay? Or they start opposing everything in the name of diversity. You understand? Just for the heck of opposing, because they are unique, they are different. You know how things are happening in our streets. Is it true diversity? Is it true freedom of expression? I'm not saying this is right or wrong. I'm just questioning. Okay, now by questioning only, you will be able to understand what is the true uniqueness. And this questioning is not permitted in the classrooms. If the teacher asks this question to the teacher, if the student asks this question to the teacher feels awkward. So he suppresses question. So where from you think this clarity will come? And if the clarity is not there, anybody says anything, you will just accept like a parrot and keep repeating it. And India is one of the country which has the richest cultural history. How much do we know about it? India had contributed immensely in all the field of science and technology. We don't know anything about it. You understood? Luckily, in class 11, CBSE has introduced different syllabus in history now. You understand? But how many students read history of Indian culture after taking science? They don't read. You understand? They don't know what kind of hydraulic system in Rajasthan they had, where it was very scanty rainfall. People thrived there, they managed their life there. Okay, at that time hand pump was not there. Still they were able to live their life. So Indian garments, textile industry was world famous. Everybody was running after it. That is what our cultural Banarasi sari is, the cultural ambassador of India. So when Modi ji came, he was promoting this. Now today handlooms are doing quite well. So like that way, in the classroom, if we promote certain kind of independent thinking, okay, just allow children to ask you question. Just allow your teachers to ask you question. Whether I'm a principal and I must encourage my teachers and children to ask questions. I don't allow them to question if I am scared, if I don't have clarity. So it is better that I go and prepare myself. I study 5 more books and come prepared, right? So when you take care of yourself, okay, first take care of yourself, take care of this one. Rest of the things will happen naturally by default. You understand? So first I must be more wide, I must be accommodating, and I will be able to do that if my horizon starts expanding. If I live truly by the teachings of Sanatana Dharma, see, in our 10,000 year history, it is written in Rig Veda, Sang Gachadvam Sambadadvam Sambhavanasi Janatam. Now, where from this diversity came? We are able to worship our trees, we worship our mountains, they are sacred to us, we worship everything, cows, all the animals are worshipped in India, right? This is what is respecting the diversity. When you respect, you don't destroy it, right? But because of various reasons, we polluted our Ganga. Okay? We polluted, now we are the great country exporting the highest beef. We are number one perhaps in exporting beef. So this is a degeneration. Until unless we question it in our classrooms, this scenario is not going to change overnight. I'm very happy that you are providing a platform at least to discuss. Okay? So all the kudos to you and your team. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir, means a lot. And your point of view, I really hope your point of view is being considered and it is educating everybody as strongly as it is educating us. So, as we are talking about trainings with teachers and our cultures, technology can never be ignored. So, Jay sir, technology, as we know, plays a vital role in education. What are some good tools for dealing with cultural diversity while teaching the students? So you have to unmute yourself, please.
Thank you. Thank you for asking this question to me. Well, I mean, we are living in 21st century, and information is available. Information is at our fingertip now. So when you ask this question, that what are some technological tools which we can use, perhaps to ensure that our students they become global citizens, I would say, of course, the entire internet is available to us. Yes, now it's very easy for a student. We must promote, and I'm thankful to the government of India also that the internet connectivity is now available in most of the schools, because the entire registration process, the affiliation process of CBSE schools also working in the remote part of the country is done via internet now, and this has helped students accessing internet also. So a student must do a lot of research work online, all right, using various research tools, using Google. So they will be able to understand. They must watch a lot of videos from different parts of the country. They must watch what are the tradition, what are the customs, what are the rituals they follow, and then they should do kind of self introspection also. They should find some sort of comparison as to are the practices which are being followed by students of other part of the world also present in our system, and this will certainly help them become much more tolerant to the cultures of different parts of the world. And then, one of the tech giants, I must tell you about this Microsoft. I'm sure that both my co-panelists, they're aware of this, that the tech giant Microsoft, for example, they give free licenses, Office 365 licenses to all the schools. And most of the schools, they are running the online classes using Microsoft Teams as a platform. So they have got a community of the educators and the principals actually, and then this amazing community of the teachers are not restricted to the geographical boundary. I'm connected to some of the educators working in Russia. I'm connected to some of the educators working in Pakistan. So this is how actually a very strong international, truly international network is facilitated by Microsoft. So these types of technical tools, and of course, who can forget about this YouTube as a wonderful tool. So there are a lot of videos, there are a lot of talk shows, there are a lot of live shows actually which are available on YouTube for everybody to view it, to watch it, and to understand that how the our culture is different than the culture of other countries. So these are some of the important tools which I think, and I would recommend all the students and all the teachers to start using it in their day-to-day teaching.
Thank you so much, sir. So, all the students, teachers, and even parents watching us out there, please do use the tools and the different kinds of applications that have been popped for the betterment of the society to create a global citizen, as sir said. Thank you so much, sir. So, as we move on, Akhilesh sir, can you shed some light on how the society can keep up with the demands of the changing global and international needs for cultural understanding and awareness? We are all in this time where technology is being used a lot, and we need to have to separate, segregate everything. So, what should we expect from the parents for this?
As far as my point is concerned, the expectation from the parents, the was all parents, they should cooperate with the school. That's a very, very important thing. See, whatever the message as the school from the school is conveyed either by the principal or by the teachers, all parents they must understand it is for the betterment of their child. And whatever a school is doing, see, a child stays in the school till class 12th, right? Even if I am saying the maximum duration of any child in the school is right from nursery to class 12, maybe that for 15 years. And then the child leaves the school. And whatever the child does after leaving the school, does all those things, whatever he or she is being taught in the school itself. So what school asks from the parent, only the support, maybe the either in the terms of the finance or in terms of what we have guided the child in the school, we ask the parent to practice the same at home also. So that child understands that completely. That's one important thing. And when we talk about this global change, then we should also allow our children, as my co-panelist said, there should be some mutual exchange programs. Like the students of one school from India, they might visit to another country and they stay with the students in their houses so they can learn what happens in their house and what happens in the school. And when they come back, that they can share with their fellow classmates. So probably by sending few students from a particular class, you will have a chance to educate all the students of studying in that class or to a particular peer group. So whenever such kind of programs school intends to organize, the parents should come and provide support. Generally, it goes other way because see when a principal conveys a message to the parents and a circular, your child has been shortlisted to represent the school and he or she has to report to maybe at another place, and now then they will come and ask what are the security arrangement, what this, that, and all that things, like all those things. So instead of, and why even when the cost factor rises, then they come and then start arguing why this much amount is being charged. So probably that my message to all parents is this: कि when school does anything for its students, I'm just sharing my experience of 16 years as a principal of Delhi Public School. A school never intends to earn any monetary benefit when a school organizes certain activities for the students. The main aim of the school is to give some exposure to the child that will help in the learning of the child. So that's something very, very important. And a school does a lot of homework. See, like when any activity is to be arranged, it's not so easy. Like we send a circular to the parent and they say like it has been done in a day. For that, we need to coordinate a lot. Even like this today's webinar, where like my two co-panelists and you, the four of us are together. So like we have done some homework and then say like then we are addressing to a group of parents. So similarly, when we need to send to the children, we need to participate. How much homework should have been done? parents do not value to the hard work which is done by the school and with to the reason for the betterment of their son or the daughter. So that they need to understand. That's
Very true, sir. So I hope all the parents have considered the hard work that our educators from all across India are doing for the betterment of the society. As we move further, and we've been talking about technology so much, so we know that younger generation spends a lot of time over social media as we are connecting to states to from the entire world. So lots of positive and negative messages flow through social media. So how can schools train the students in digital literacy and avoid the spread of online hatred? Alok sir, could you shed some light over this?
Yeah, thank you so much. Again, this is a very crucial question and burning question actually. Parents find themselves inadequate to handle it because they don't know the technology that well as the younger generation. Teachers, because of this pandemic, forced to do all their teaching online. So children who were little protected from the technology and internet, now we legitimatized it, and by providing that, they are all learning it. But unfortunately, the critical thinking ability that the child should have developed was not honed in them by thorough training. So media literacy is not a curriculum in any school. There are very few schools who have done media literacy program for the children. So you are not able to understand why one news agency is portraying this news in such such manner, yet another news agency is feeding the same news in a different manner. So now, if it is happening in television, look what is happening in internet, because internet is more free than the TV. So who is controlling the media is controlling your mind. That means the student's mind is getting controlled by the information technology that is coming through TV, that is coming through internet. And we are here talking about diversity. Where is diversity? We are all promoting monoculture. You understand? So we are living in such a irony. No, every day we are living something, but we are talking something else. We are practicing something in our life, and we are preaching something in our life. So that is why we as educators, we have the greatest responsibility to call a spade, and we must do it for the children. So, first of all, it is important that we must introduce media literacy in a small way in our social study classrooms. So, social study teachers, when they are dealing with things about society, about history, about geography, about civics, let them have small projects just to compare different news agency. Okay, now everything is available digital. Just take a printout and read the same news from four different news agencies. You'll see the difference. See who is taking a picture from which angle. Why one group is highlighting this particular aspect and one group is hiding that aspect. So little bit. So when you raise this question, the child's mind will start opening. It will open up. No more it will be the same innocent mind which will accept anything the teacher says, anything the media says, anything the parents say. We are scared of that. The moment the child start asking question, we are in trouble. The society is in trouble. The leaders are in trouble. So, in spite of all this, we need to ask question. That is number one. So, I will be telling you a few classroom techniques, methods that can be adopted. Can there be a discussion in the classroom where there is no authority? There is no final word on the topic. So when the discussion is like our discussion is going on, now we are just listening to each other. We are not arguing. We are respectfully listening to each other and getting enriched by the process. So teacher should not be ruling the discussion. He should or she should only be there as a facilitator, allowing each child to voice his ideas or her ideas and let it be recorded. Let there be a feedback. Okay? So when we are giving feedback, we need to see that the dialogue is there. Dialogue is different from argument or debate. Dialogue is a parallel movement in the thought level. So there we will be able to respect diversity in a much more holistic manner. In the process, what we do, we alienate the person who is not towing our line of thought. Okay, you'll experience it in the corporate world. If boss is saying something, you have to be with the boss. Boss is always right, right? But that is what kills diversity. That this authoritarian mindset is one of the reasons which is against diversity. Next thing is that we must have some clarity about our uniqueness. This is the last point. I'm taking it from Gita because in our Gita there is something called Swadharma and Swabhava. The Swadharma and Swabhava is a unique thing which our culture has preserved till date. We as educationists, we as teachers or educators must have clarity on this. Each child is unique. That means what? Like each flower, rose cannot be sunflower and sunflower cannot be rose. Each of them are unique. They should not exchange their fragrance. Okay? Now, how do we do that? So, just superficially, we are telling something called differential learning. But in order to really do differential learning, we need to understand how it was done by Drona in Mahabharata. He did not teach Bhima to become an archer. They all learn archery a little bit. But Arjuna, because of his Swadharma, he became the best archer. Or Ekalabhya became the best archer. But they knew all other things. Same thing with Yudhishthira, same thing with others. So when in our classroom such kind of diversity is there, why do we want everybody to be very good in mathematics? Everybody should be very good in science. Everybody should be very good in this and that. So thing is that we provide each child according to his nature and nurture them and take them to the next level. And when we do that, the child will be confident and he can interact with anybody in the world, whether there is a child from Italy or there is a child from America. Recently, we have this climate action project, and our children of class 6, 7, they were interacting with the children from Italy. So we use the technology to bring the diverse culture to one platform, and children were learning about each other, country, the climate concerns, the issues that are plaguing the society, all this. So, thing is that more you allow children to question, all these things will happen naturally. Children will start questioning if you promote teachers to question you. Okay, this is what we need to do from the grassroots level. Then all this multifarious thinking, ability to adjust to different changes will come, and all the profound things are there in our culture. Only thing is that we need to recognize it, allow it to thrive. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jaisa. Would you like to add something to how to train the students to be digitally literate?
Well, I mean, when we talk about digital literacy, I will use another term for this, and which people have started using it. This is something called digital citizenship or cyber citizenship. It's a, it has got a very it's a broader, it has got a broader meaning, wherein we do not only tell them how to handle this online situation, how to go online, but they should also be able to understand what is good and what is bad for themselves. So once actually we start teaching them as to how to gain mastery in this digital cyber digital citizenship, I think students will be better placed to handle these types of situations. So I think there is a need of a very refined curriculum, and Google has already released a curriculum. Not many people they know, but Google has a very structured program which is called digital citizenship. So I would request whosoever is watching this show, I would request that you please go Google digital citizenship or cyber citizenship, and then go through it properly. And if possible, please ask your teachers, please ask the principal, please ask your parents, please ask your children to follow this in letter and spirit. The day they will start understanding what actually is the meaning of the digital citizenship, they'll be much more responsible, they'll start caring for others, and that is when they will understand that how to handle cyberbullying, how and why not to disrespect other people online. So cyber citizenship is something very important and is a must for everybody whosoever goes online.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing the term with us. And I'm sure our viewers would totally research about it and would inhibit this in their lives. So, with this note, we come to the end of the webinar. I would like to thank all our panelists for sharing their views, sharing their knowledge with us and the viewers. So, before closing, sir, I would like you to give some messages, some concluding messages to our viewers. Akhilesh, sir, starting with you.
I'm sure whatever we have conveyed today, this does not mean that we are not doing these things. Whatever we have conveyed, that was something added what you are doing. And if the parents and the students, those who are listening to us, they will start following something, some text from us, I'm sure they will be benefited a lot. Thank you.
So
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Alok, sir, please some words of wisdom to us viewers.
Yeah, it's a very important topic that is very close to the real learning, and I'm happy that it was brought up and we discussed it at length. My urge to parents is that we have inherited a very rich heritage, and because of this heritage, recently I was listening to one person, one educationist from Africa, and he was saying why Indians are able to adapt so well in the world scenario. They are doing exceedingly well in all the countries, and they are in the key areas where they are designing the policies. They are playing a significant role in bringing glory to that country. How is it that it is happening to them? And they are able to excel in every field, whether it is science, technology, politics, whichever area. And he was giving the points why it is happening like that. And one thing he says that it is language, definitely. India is very rich in language. So I would urge my parents or the viewers who are listening, allow your children to learn as many languages as possible as long as you are in the country. You have the privilege. Please encourage your children to learn the language. Second thing, it's an amazing country. Please travel as much as you can. Take your child to different states. Let the schools encourage a lot of field trips, study tours, excursions, adventure camps, whatever they want. And let them go and just be there with the people who are there and be with them. So arrange study tours which for 10 days let the children be there with the nature, with the culture of that place, eat like them, live like them, dress up like them, and at the end of the day let them come and give a presentation to the whole school. That will widen, that will really will be a great respect to the diversity of this country, and also it will give lot of business to the local people. So if I am taking my children and going to Odisha or to Uttar Pradesh, so these children will be spending there, right? So we are enriching the diversity of Uttar Pradesh by going there, right? And in return, my children are getting trained how to go and live nicely in America or England or in Austria or in any other country. Okay. Third thing, which is very
I really think that there is some problem with Sir's internet connection. But we surely, I hope, okay, Sir is here. Sir, we could not hear the last point that you said.
okay. Okay. The last thing I'm saying is that when you do this first one and two, the third thing happens naturally that your immune system becomes very strong. When you are going to different places, meeting different people, your thinking becomes very robust, your body becomes very strong, it is adaptable, it can survive any challenges. So there is no fear of COVID, okay, because your immune system is strong. That's the message and,
Thank,
what I would end
thank
with.
you so
Thank
much,
you.
sir. Thank you so much, sir. And I hope there are many excursions, many traveling as the situation gets better. We hope
Yeah.
so for the future. Jay, sir, any words for the viewers, for the parents, teachers watching us?
Well, Kavleen, most of the points are already covered by both my co-panelists. However, I would like to add a few more points. My message to all the parents: please allow your children to blossom naturally, whatever they want to. If they have a dream, because of this multiculturalism in the classroom, if they have a dream to go and study somewhere in Australia, then start preparing right from the beginning. You have to have financial planning in place, but do not discourage them. Who knows, there are a lot of scholarship opportunities available. Who knows, I know, what, one of my student, my school is in a very remote area, and one of the students from this village only, she made it to New Mexico State University with 100% scholarship. So who knows that what future has kept for you. And I would request all my parents to allow your children to blossom. Let them do whatever they want to do. And as far as the students are concerned, children are concerned, when you are using these online tools, first you know the rules, because it's a jungle. This internet is a jungle, and honestly speaking, nobody governs this. There are a lot of inappropriate content, so you have to be really aware as to which direction you should be heading to. So first you know the rules of the games and use it judiciously. Use it in such a way that it helps building your skills, and do not try to get carried away with a lot of unnecessary stuff which are already available online. And of course, sir has already spoken that if possible, please allow your children to travel different parts of the world. Of course, I'm sure that most of the schools in India, they organize field trips for different parts of the country. But if possible, allow your children to visit different parts of the world. This will help them grow as an individual. This will widen their spectrum. They will be much more responsible. They will have a feeling of tolerance towards other cultures also. And these are the things actually which I can think as of now. Thank you so much, Kavli.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. And with this positive note, we come to the end of the webinar. We thank all the viewers also who were watching this show. And if you've not subscribed to our channel yet, what are you waiting for? Please hit that button and click the bell icon for regular updates and more exciting episodes like these. Thank you for your time and thoughts, sir. Thank you on promoting multiculturalism in classroom. It was a wonderful session. Thank you, sir.